Hi everyone, I'm Alana from the Brantford Public Library, and I'm here to share another reading recommendation with you. I also got a chance to speak to Karen Towler virtually. She's one of our board members at the library, and asked her what she'd recommend as well. So my recommendation today is this short story collection by Joyce Carol Oates called The Other You. I'm a huge fan of short stories. Other people aren't. Some people say it lacks depth and substance. I don't find that to be the case. I find short stories are a unique way to explore a new genre or a new author. And if it's written well, it's a great way to read a story in under an hour, on a lunch break or just on vacation. It's a real easy read, short stories. So these set of short stories in particular is, if you know anything about Joyce Carol Oates, you know she writes in a variety of styles and genres, and a lot of her most famous work involve violence and the evil in modern society. So if you're not a fan of the particular darker books, then you probably won't like this one. This collection in particular is about all the stories revolve around the road not taken, the what could have been, what your alternate destiny would be like if you made a different decision a month ago, a year ago, 20 years ago. So all the characters in these stories are contemplating that. So in one story, we have a widowed empty nester who's in her 40s, who is trying to figure out where her life went wrong. She is a business owner, she has her own home, but she's lonely, and so she pinpoints where her life went wrong back to a high school exam and tries to picture her life differently if she had passed that exam. That's one of the tamer stories. In another story, we have two friends who go to a restaurant like they usually do, and that particular day, something major happens. I can't tell you what it is without giving it away, but the one friend a year later is contemplating, would she have done it differently, and questioning herself and her actions. In another story, we have an accident-prone little girl who made one accident too many, and in her little girl mind is trying to figure out why she made that decision. There are a number of stories with interesting twists and surprise endings, and actually some of the stories are connected in strange ways, like either like a particular place or a particular town. The stories themselves aren't connected, but there's little bits and pieces that are the same in each of the stories. So overall, I found them to be a great set of stories, and if you've liked anything by Joyce Carol Oates, you like this as well. If you like authors like Chris Bojalian and Diane Chamberlain, you like these stories as well.
Hello, my name is Karen Towler, or Karen Adams, and I'm a member of the Brantford Public Library Board, and I'm also the Associate Chair at Conestoga College in the School of Health and Life Science. And I'm really excited to share my passion for our beautiful community library, and one of the books that my book club has just finished the last week or so. I love having the book club in a bag where we meet on Zoom and talk about a book, and it brings distraction to all of us in these crazy times. I've had the opportunity to meet 10 women in our community that otherwise never would have come together. The book that we chose most recently in our book club is this one called Kristin Hannah, The Great Alone. And she wrote this book, or published this book, in 2018, but it's set in 1974. And it's set where this family moves to Alaska. And Kristin really sets the stage of what Alaska was like in 1974. So I felt that I knew what the mountains looked like, knew like what the seasons were like, and what the isolation was like for people who lived in that community back in 1974. Kristin has written 15 plus books, and I can't wait to read read more of her books, but this one really dealt with some very significant issues, and really let us as a group reflect on issues around mental health, around isolation, about trauma that may have occurred. In this particular case, it was the father, who clearly had been to war and had come back a changed man. And from that, the wife really ruminated about the man he used to be. And there was abuse, both physical, emotional, financial abuse between that couple. But she tolerated so much. And we, as people who haven't dealt with that abuse, could feel angry and say, get out of that, take your daughter and run. But it really helped us understand through her writings the power struggles that go on in a relationship. And all of us as mothers and as women worried in this book about the influence of this impact of the dynamics with the daughter, and role modeling what would be appropriate behavior, what would be appropriate healthy relationships. And the book also expanded when the daughter got older and fell in love, and that young love. So there was that aspect to it. A strong community-based, and how community comes together in crisis, and there's many crises throughout the book, and also around power and family, and really is a great read that everyone will find something in this book that you will like. And I really encourage all of you to look at any of her writings. I've been told by others that any of her books are fabulous. So this is number 1, and I got another 14 more to go. So I really hope that you take some time and read this fabulous book by Kristin Hanna, The Great Alone. Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you, Karen, for your recommendation. If you're interested in The Great Alone or in The Other You or our Book Club in a Bag collection, all the links will be in the description below. Thank you, everyone. Happy reading.